Hey everyone, as you're getting ready for your CMA exam, let's tackle a budgeting concept that fixes the single biggest weakness of a traditional budget: time. We're going to dive deep into the continuous, or as you'll often hear it called, the rolling budget.
So let's start with the problem that every manager has to deal with when they're stuck with a static annual budget. I mean, think about it. You spend months creating this perfect, detailed budget. It kicks off in January, and then what happens? You know exactly what happens. By the time September rolls around, the assumptions you made last fall might be completely irrelevant. In today's fast-moving economy, making decisions based on stale data isn't just a bad idea. It can be downright dangerous for a business.
Take a look at this timeline. It really paints a picture, doesn't it? A static budget, it looks great in January, but as the year goes on, things inevitably change, and its foundations just start to crumble. By the fourth quarter, it's pretty much useless for any real-time planning.
So what's the solution? Well, that's where the continuous or rolling budget comes in. Now, the key concept to lock in for your exam is this: it maintains a fixed time horizon. That means no matter what month it is, you are always looking a full 12 months into the future.
So how does this actually work in practice? It might sound complicated, but the process is surprisingly simple, and yet it's incredibly powerful. Let's just walk through it step by step.
Okay, think of it like this. Your budget is a 12-month-long conveyor belt. As soon as January is over and in the books, it falls off the front of the belt. And at the exact same time, you add the next January to the very end of the belt. Then February ends, it falls off, and next February gets added. See? This simple cycle transforms budgeting from this huge, stressful annual event into a dynamic, ongoing process.
And here's the crucial part to understand. This isn't just about shuffling numbers around. It's a total shift in the company's culture. Management is forced to always be looking ahead, which means your sales forecasts, your production schedules, everything stays much more current.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like a lot more work. So why on earth would a company go through all that trouble? Well, it turns out there is some pretty massive strategic advantages.
First, and most importantly, relevance. If a major competitor suddenly slashes their prices in March, your rolling budget can reflect that reality almost immediately. Second, you get rid of that dreaded, all-consuming budget season every fall. And third, it keeps managers focused on what's coming next. You know, with a static budget, it's so easy to just kind of coast through the last quarter. That just doesn't happen with a rolling budget.
Now let's talk about the real-world challenges. I mean, if this method is so great, why isn't every single company using it? This is exactly the kind of critical thinking the CMA exam loves to test you on.
Well, the biggest drawback is the sheer effort involved. Your managers are basically in a permanent state of budgeting, and that takes up a ton of time and resources. You also can't really run this effectively on a bunch of spreadsheets. You need some serious software. And honestly, all these constant updates can sometimes lead to information overload or what some people call budget fatigue.
So how does all this translate to the exam itself? It's one thing to know the pros and cons, but applying them in a tricky exam scenario, well, that's how you're going to earn those points.
I can almost guarantee you will see a question just like this. They'll describe a company in a super fast-changing industry, like tech or high fashion, where last year's trends are totally worthless, and they'll ask you to pick the best budgeting approach. And the answer, almost every single time, is going to be the continuous or rolling budget. It really drills down to its core strength. For any industry that's in constant flux, the ability to adapt makes the rolling budget the clear winner. The key word here is flexibility. But speaking of flexibility, okay, listen up, because this is the single most common point of confusion for students, and I really want to make sure you nail this. The terms rolling budget and flexible budget sound similar, but they mean two completely different things. Let's clear it up right now.
Please, burn this into your memory. Rolling is all about time. It's about always maintaining that 12-month forward-looking period. Flexible is all about volume. A flexible budget adjusts for how many units you actually sold or produced. They are not the same thing. Although, just to complicate things, you can have a rolling, flexible budget.
All right, let's bring it all home with the most important takeaways. If you only remember a few key things from this for exam day, make it these. So here are the essentials. A continuous budget always maintains that 12-month horizon. It leads to way more accurate planning and keeps the company nimble. But, and this is a big but, it costs a lot more in administrative effort. And for part 1 of the exam, understanding the role of timing is absolutely critical.
And I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on as you study. For a fast-growing startup in a really volatile industry, is a rolling budget a brilliant strategic advantage or just an administrative nightmare? The answer, like it so often is on the CMA exam, is it depends. It depends on the company's resources and its priorities. Understanding that trade-off is key. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next one.